Well, good morning, Miramar, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamara G. Don't forget, you can check us out on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. That's Miramar. And with me today on the show is Dr. Beatrice Gonzalez. She is the president of Miami-Dade Wolfson Campus, and they have a lot going on, new things that are going on because of where we are in the world and how we're doing things now. So first of all, welcome to the show, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you so much, Tamara. I appreciate being here.
No problem. No problem. Well, I am so happy to have you here because, a lot of people are continuing their educations. They're wanting to learn more. They're having to learn more and do different things. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, what everybody is always concerned about. How do I pay for college?
All right. Well, thanks very much for asking about that. It's certainly a pertinent question. And I might add while we're talking about this, that as you know, we all have a sense that people have suffered a loss, an economic loss during the pandemic. And the Strat Education Group did a survey of 8,000 adults in May and found that of those 55% of folks who answered that survey had lost a job or had lost hours or income. It's quite a high number. And of that group who did lose a job, 39% of those people thought that they would have to get new credentials or different educational credentials in order to keep competing or to do that sort of work and career pivot that they might need to do now because of the pandemic. So, of course, that says to us as an educational institution that we need to be ready to help people make that shift. And so we've really focused on being flexible on the resources that students might need and on the relevant programs. So in terms of resources, so some of the financial resources right now, if someone registers in the next 10 days, so up until January 29th, they can have 13 free credits in a sense at the in-state tuition rate. Yes. Plus another $25 per credit towards fees, except for just a few programs. So that really does make it very doable for someone to come back to school. So I'd certainly encourage folks to do that. And that's open to new students and returning students. Then we have another program called the Last Mile program, and that's for students who only need 13 more credits to graduate. And Miami-Dade College will cover those 13 credits in full, that tuition, so that you can finish your degree. So I think those two are both for new students and existing students to get back in there. Maybe they needed to stop out for a little bit given all the challenges of the pandemic, but we can make it possible for you to come back. We have many quick credential programs for people, meaning it might only take 1 term or 2 terms to finish those. And the great thing about those certificates is that they stack up to degrees. So if you wanted to keep going after you finish the certificate, you can also get a degree. And they're in areas that we know are still growth areas, areas where people are hiring, like accounting, entrepreneurship, digital marketing, graphic design, network security, help desk technicians. All of those are fields where people are still hiring, and you can earn these college credit certificates that get you going right away.
That's amazing, Dr. Gonzalez. I mean, just the fact that you guys would take care of 13 hours. For most people who are watching or may not know, that's at least 4 classes, because classes are usually 3-hour increments. And so that would be at least 4 classes that you guys are paying for, which is amazing, because as someone who paid her own way through college, I can tell you, with the help of some Pell grants and some loans and everything, but it's not cheap. It's not something that you just walk out and say, I'm going to pay for 12 classes. And particularly with the way tuition is today, even at a state-run college.
That's true. And we still have those traditional programs as well, traditional financial aid and Pell and student loans that people can apply for. It's just we've sort of added extra support because we know that in this time it's needed. And I have to say, I was just speaking to the head of the MDC Foundation this morning, and he mentioned that the philanthropy is still strong for Miami-Dade College. People understand what we're doing here, what it's all about, who we support, which is the South Florida community. And so people are still giving, and it makes these financial incentive programs possible. So I do want to give a shout out to everybody who's still supporting scholarships out there. It's so important.
I know we love people who give to scholarships. I'm a scholarship fund person. If you tell me it's for a scholarship fund, you've got my money already. Now tell us a little bit about the Wolfson campus and where you guys are located for the folks who may be joining us and don't know.
Sure. So the Wilson campus is in downtown Miami. So we're just a couple of blocks west of Bayside, if you know where Bayside is.
Mm-hmm.
But the wonderful thing about what's going on now is that we have lots of choices in terms of what educators call modality. So the way you take your classes. So we have a couple of options for face-to-face. You can still come face-to-face for some classes. And there were some particular programs that the faculty and the students all agreed that we really need to be in person for those. So programs like our first responder programs, fashion, culinary, some of our medical arts programs. Some of those are still face-to-face, of course, with the right social distancing and all the safety protocols in place. There's also what we call blended, meaning, let's say I want to come face-to-face part of the time, for some of these programs, I need that, but then also half of it is virtual. You can be at home. So those are two sort of face-to-face options. Then we also have a couple of options that are completely virtual. There's MDC online. And so that is asynchronous, meaning you access those classes anytime you want online. There are some constraints in terms of due dates for assignments, but other than that, you access that class whenever you want. We also have a new modality called MDC Live, which means synchronous. So it's all virtual, it's all online, but there are specific times that you meet as if you were coming to campus. And so even though I love the Wilson campus, I love being downtown, close to the water, all of that is neat, you can access courses for Wilson campus or any other campus of Miami-Dade College through these other modalities as well. Let's say you really can't come to campus, or your health is compromised, or you're caring for others at home. Well, you can still keep pursuing your goals because we have these other options in terms of online methods.
And I can tell you again, very different from when I went to school and was in college, because the professors wanted you in class. You had to be there. Some professors took attendance.
Yep.
It was all of that. And then of course there were others who, they already had your money. So they didn't care whether you showed up or not. You could flunk out if you wanted to, it's on you. But I just love the fact that you guys are doing this. And I'm sure all of Miami-Dade College campuses are, all 8 of them, but
yes,
making it to where there really is no excuse. And people learn differently too. Some people love the virtual, and then other people need the, maybe coming to class 2 days a week, and then the rest of it could be virtual.
Right. I totally agree. And I think after the pandemic is all through, and that day will come, we'll see that students now will be a little bit more particular about what their options are, because we can do it all these various ways. And maybe one semester coming to a campus makes sense for you, but the next semester you might want to do a blended format or MDC Live, something that gives you more flexibility. We know most of our students are working students, so we really want to create formats that allow them to access education in whatever way makes the most sense for them. I should also add that in terms of those other supports that you normally would find at a campus, students can access them in a virtual format as well. So for example, mental health counseling, we have virtual formats for that. Onboarding as a student, I'm new to Miami-Dade College, you can come to the campus, but we also have virtual rooms where we do orientation as well. So really anything that you could do face-to-face, we've also arranged for you to be able to do it online. So again, trying to be flexible, meet people's needs as best we can. I would like to say that there's still opportunity to register now for spring. We started the traditional term, which is 16 weeks back on January 6th, but we have 3 more terms now for spring. So on January 25th, just around the corner, we have a 14-week term. On February 8th, we start a 12-week term. And on March 8th, we start an 8-week term. So there's a few more opportunities to get in there now for spring and take advantage of some of these financial incentives. And people, again, whatever works for you. If you want to come in person for the next 2 Saturdays, we'll be open in person. So this coming Saturday and Saturday, January 30th, if you wanted to come on campus and the work days just don't work for you, you can come over to campus. But then again, we still have the virtual rooms, we have a telephone, any way that you need to find us, we'll be here for you.
And it is a beautiful campus. I've been on Wilson campus several times. Beautiful campus. It's really expanded and growing. And I love the fact that, Dr. Gonzalez, that college campuses now are for everybody. I mean, you literally have age groups. And as the president of the college, I know you can tell us from 18 to 80. or 85
Absolutely true. Yep.
attending classes. Tell us about that, and that, people who are a little bit older or seasoned, as we like to say, don't have to feel a certain kind of way if they want to go back to school or want to finish a degree.
That's absolutely right, Tamara. We still, of course, still have the traditional students coming right from high school, but more and more our seasoned population of students continues to grow. And particularly here at the Wilson campus, where we're surrounded by so many businesses, government agencies,
Mhm.
and now condominiums,
Right.
we're able to serve the adult student. And sometimes it's people who are trying to they have a career, they have their credentials, but they're trying to bring more value at work. For example, we just launched our Business Innovation and Technology Center. You would just be amazed by the resources in that center, but it allows students to engage with the Bloomberg terminals, Hootsuite, Salesforce, and it's really looking at how digital tools are changing the finance and marketing industry. And so we will see, we have seasoned professionals who access our different programs, our seminars out of the BIT Center. And like that, we have many different programs like that across the college that are really for people who are either pivoting careers or trying to bring more value at work, and maybe set themselves up for the next promotion, the next pay raise. But yes, if you were to come to campus, no matter who you are, you'd feel comfortable. Because you'll see an array of students in age. It's greatly diverse. We speak, I think it's 167 nations
Wow.
where our students come from, and
Okay.
63 languages are spoken at Miami-Dade College in terms of the student population. So it is hugely diverse, and that's what makes it so wonderful.
Oh. If you're just tuning in to Good Morning Miramar, we're speaking with Dr. Beatrice Gonzalez. She is the president of Miami-Dade Wolfson campus, the downtown Miami campus. And we've been talking with her about the different programs that they have going on, particularly for this spring semester coming right up. It's right around the corner. You need to sign up. They actually have already started, but they have more sessions that you can go to, but particularly with in regards to financial aid. And also I want to talk a little bit more about you mentioned a little earlier, Dr. Gonzalez, about those people who have to pivot now because of COVID, because their jobs are no longer there, or what they were doing is not in demand right now. Are you guys seeing that you're having a lot of enrollment in those types of programs where people are basically learning something new at whatever age they may be?
Yes, definitely. Those programs are of great interest to students. And we, even with our non-credit programs, some of them sort of introduce people to a new area, whether it be bookkeeping or childcare, whatever the area. And then many of those credits are often crosswalked into a degree program. And that's why it's important to reach out, get a hold of an advisor, because if we are able to speak with you about what your interest is, we can adapt a path for you, so you can do what you want to do. I had mentioned a few stats. One last stat that I hadn't mentioned is that 37% of those who lost their job would like to change careers. So we know we have a great group of people out there who said, oh, okay, well, maybe this is my opportunity now to take a minute and reflect and do something different. And we have something called MDC Works, which is sort of our career center for the entire college. And you could speak to a representative there if you're still trying to figure that out. What is my new path? They can help with your resume building. That center also collects all the different notices from different employers who are trying to work with us, and whether it be a regular full-time job, part-time jobs, or internships. So MDC Works is another resource for people who are trying to do that career pivot or launching their new career.
Okay. And for the folks who grew up down here and they're like, oh, Miami-Dade, that's the junior college, that's the 2-year college. Tell them that you guys have changed many years ago. 4 year, always been accredited, but now a 4-year degree university.
Yes, there was a shift several years ago where many of the schools became state colleges and then more referred to that way. And that's exactly right. We have bachelor's, besides still offering our certificates and our associate's degrees, we also have bachelor's degrees. For example, one of our latest degrees is the bachelor's in cybersecurity, another area that is booming, growing. There just are not enough people with the proper training to fill those jobs. So if that's of interest to you, you could earn your bachelor's degree in a field like that at much less expense than you would at a traditional 4-year university. And I dare say that we are really focused on the industry, and we have industry partners. So we're very agile. We're able to adjust the curriculum so it's really addressing what the industry needs, what the employers need. So I think the students would find a program that is very current in terms of meeting the demands of the industry.
So I know, Dr. Gonzalez, you just talked about cybersecurity as one of those emerging fields that people, could get a degree in, and they're looking for people. Like, there are companies who are actually looking for people. As someone who is not of the technical aspect, that was never my forte, ever, ever, ever. What are some of the other emerging fields? Something that has to do with talking, or being
Sure,
fresh.
sure. Well, if people are still looking at the 4-year
Mhm.
credential, a bachelor's degree, we have that in business. So it could be human resources and management, supervision and management. Also, data doesn't have to be necessarily techie, but sort of data analysis. So somebody who really likes to look at numbers and try to understand their meaning. What are the trends that we see there? Education is another one of our 4-year
Mhm.
degrees. In the medical arts, we have 4-year degrees. But then again, we're seeing that so much can be accomplished with a 2-year degree in terms of meeting workforce needs. And that's so often a good path. Get the 2-year degree, get started, earn some income, get to know your industry. Then you really understand what you truly want, and then go ahead and finish the 4-year degree. That's often a really great path for people, both economically, but also to understand what really your calling is, what you're interested in.
It's funny when you mentioned earlier about people now taking these new certifications, or coming in and possibly uh, just going into a whole different field. I literally have 2 or 3 girlfriends who told me in the last week, I hate what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I do think that that's been one of the benefits of this year, this pandemic year, is that people really have said, I've been doing this for 25 years and I haven't liked it for 24, but I've been doing it and now I want to do something else. I guess the issue is, how do you find out what it is that you want to do?
Mhm. Well, again, I think if folks are willing to either come in or just make a call, whether it be to MDC Works, where they have very specific tools to help people assess what their strengths are, what their
Mhm.
interests are, or speaking to one of our departmental advisors in one of the academic areas. And you could ask all these questions. Here's where I think my talent is. Here's what I've always liked. Does it go together with this other piece of knowledge that I have and this other skill set I have? And they'll help you to think about what skills you have that are transferable to another kind of work. And certainly people do have those skills that can be transferred to other fields. And it's so funny that you mentioned about your girlfriends, because when the pandemic started, for a little while I was keeping a journal specific to the pandemic and all of that. And I put my own little self prediction, 9 months from now, there will be all these career shifters, because as challenging and difficult as the pandemic has been, I like to look for silver linings, and I think that's one of them. People taking a little bit of a pause to analyze what truly will make them happy, what truly will make them fulfilled, and it provides the opportunity to do that, to take a stop and maybe a shift, and really pursue your life passion.
Right. And you guys have made it so easy for them. Again, you've made a campus to where it can be worked out in any kind of way. You don't necessarily have to be there
That's
every
right.
day of the week, Monday through Friday, taking classes. You've made it to where it's virtual. Do you feel like virtual and going to class as well? Do you feel like, seriously, after this is all over, but we come out of this on the other side, that this is the new way that people are going to be going to college now?
I think there will always be some people who want that traditional classic college experience, where you come to campus and you're engaged in activities and you drop in on your professor and all of those things. And that will be here. We will still have that.
Mhm.
But I think many people, now that they've tried some virtual learning, will say, oh, okay, I can do that. I can manage that. And will want some manner of virtual learning, maybe not completely online, asynchronous, where you just access whenever you want. Maybe they might want more like MDC Live, where you're virtual, but you're
Mhm.
coming in at a very predictable time, and building community with your fellow classmates and professor. Even though you aren't there physically with each other, you still can build that team sense. So I think people will realize they have options, and they will go to the folks who give them those options. And I think that's great, because often people didn't go forward in their education because their life circumstances were constraints. It just wasn't doable, wasn't possible. They had people to care for, their jobs, commuting, all of this. So I think having these different ways to connect to school, that's what we need to do as educational institutions, provide those options for people. So everyone, if that's what they want, they can go to school, they can prepare themselves for a new career, whatever it may be.
Okay. And well, speaking of that, and since people will be on campus, they will be in classrooms. I'm sure people are concerned about, COVID restrictions, or what are you guys doing? Are the classes now restricted to where it's not 100 people in a math class? Maybe it's 25 people in a math class now.
Yes, that's exactly right. Officially, it's what we call phase 2 of our pandemic response. So that means that we are limited in the numbers of people in any particular space. Everybody and all the seats have been labeled as such. And so everyone is at least 6 feet apart. When you come to campus, you are going to be asked a few questions to see if you've been exposed. Your temperature will be taken. If you pass that screening, you'll be given a wrist ID like I'm wearing today.
Okay.
And then masks are required everywhere on campus. You can't come into the campus unless you're wearing your mask. The cleaning protocols have been elevated significantly. If you were to come to campus, you would see our custodial team repeatedly wiping banisters and the escalators and the elevators. Everything really is being attended to very well. And I really want to give a shout out to our custodial staff and our public safety staff, because even though other people have gone away from campus for some period and another since last March, they have been here the entire time. So great backbone of our institution, those two teams.
Well, we certainly hope that everyone takes advantage of what is going on at Miami-Dade campus, the Wolfson campus, downtown Miami. Tell us once again, we're going to wrap it up, Dr. Beatrice Gonzalez, the president of Miami-Dade Wolfson campus. But you guys have something very special right now, particularly when it comes to getting some free classes paid for by Miami-Dade.
Yes, you can get up to 13 credits at the state rate for the spring terms, and there are still 3 more terms to start, September 25th, February 8th, and March 8th. You can also get up to $25 per credit towards fees. And then there's also the last mile program for those students who only have 13 credits left to graduate. We'll pay for those too. So we're really trying to help people get back on their feet and support this great South Florida community.
Awesome. And it is open to everyone in South Florida and beyond if you want, because obviously this is going worldwide. So you all are a college campus. It's not just for Miami-Dade residents.
True. That's true. Yep.
Yeah, because some people actually like, oh, I can't go to Miami-Dade because it's in Miami-Dade. No, you can actually go to Miami-Dade College.
MDC Online or MDC Live, both of those, you would never have to come to campus. So either one of those programs.
All right, sounds good. And if people want more information, how can they get it? Which website should they go to?
www.mdc.edu. That's probably the easiest way to connect.
Awesome. www.mdc.edu. MDC, Miami-Dade College, mdc.edu. Thank you so much, Dr. Beatrice Gonzalez, president of Miami-Dade Wolfson campus. And we will definitely have you back again. We would love to know what is going to be available in the fall, because I'm sure everything's going to change once again, once this semester is over, the spring semester, and we continue to find out how we're going to get back to normal. And I say that with quotes. But, I'm sure we'll have you back just to let us know how people can get more involved again and can get their educations, further them, learn something new, get some financial aid, all of that good stuff. So thank you very much, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you so much, Tamara. It'd be my pleasure to come back. Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching Good Morning Miramar. Until next time. See you.